Welcome to this week's episode of Local Threads. I'm Molly, your host, and this week I'm talking to Malinda Lesko of Alchemy Fibermill. Malinda runs a processing mill inside a historical mill building in Easthampton. Malinda also serves on the board of the Western Mass Fiber Shed. Don't worry, if it's your first time hearing about Fiber Shed, you'll know all about it by the end. And for the love of fiber, let's get into the episode. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
All the way from, is that where you are from? Or
I am from just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
So a New England transplant.
New England transplant. I like to say that I moved from the 412 to the 413. Just true.
You know, it's kind of funny. I had that same situation where I'm from Louisiana and I moved from 318 to 317. I also lived in North Dakota, and that's 701. And I lived in Vegas, which is 702. Yeah,
Interesting.
it was weird that happens that way. It's too eerie. I don't know, too coincidental.
Yeah.
It starts feeling like destiny until you get to the place where you actually like the most and it doesn't fit. And then you're like, nah, it didn't mean anything. So what brought you to Massachusetts?
I came by way of New Hampshire. I did 2 different National Park Service internships in Massachusetts. So I think that kind of early on, out of college kind of thing. I think that definitely played a role. I was at Cape Cod National Seashore and Boston Harbor Islands.
Oh, cool.
Very amazing places.
Yeah.
I highly recommend. I definitely remember crying the day that I left. Like, I was so sad to leave that place. It was a really great experience. It was a really great internship. Student Conservation Association also was part of that internship. So give a shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
And just sort of floundering, not really finding jobs around that time when I graduated, and the Student Conservation Association that I did that internship with in conjunction with National Park Service, they had a temporary opening for someone who went on maternity leave. So I just went there not having a next plan, and then the maternity leave person never came back. And so that became my job for a while. Yeah, recruiting for a nonprofit.
You have a fiber mill called Alchemy Fibermill. What was your path into fiber work?
I have always been passionate about fiber. Sewing was my first love. I learned from my mom, my grandma, and my great-grandma, so I was fortunate in that way. And I actually did fiber science and design in my undergraduate degree. So it didn't really develop into a professional thing at that time. That was where I fell into the internship and the environmental path. And then I kind of thought of fiber as my retirement plan. And then more recently, I thought, wait, why is it my retirement plan? Why can't it be my now plan?
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
Did you create a fiber mill at your house, or did you buy one?
I bought the equipment from a mill that was retiring and then had it moved from Rhode Island to Easthampton. And I rent a space there. And this is part of what I really love about it, too, is that I am a mini fiber mill inside a larger historic mill building. And that, to me, is a really cool part of kind of embodying that history and bringing fiber back to that space.
What is a fiber mill for those people that don't know?
So for me, it is wool processing. For other mills, it might be different things, but I primarily process wool, also some alpaca and some other protein-based fibers.
What does that mean?
They come from animals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's a process that they like sheep need to be sure to live. So it's not something that harms them, something that helps them. We coexist, and they grow new fiber every year. So there's more and more fiber to process and produce, and it's renewable, and it returns to the soil depending on what you do with it.
So wool, alpaca, and then other one-offs, basically.
Other one-offs. It depends on what people come to me with. I've done some llama. There are some other really specialized fibers.
Dog hair. I've thought about doing that with my husky because it's so much.
It can be done. It can be done. So my setup is considered a mini mill, but which means I can take small amount of fiber and process it to a finished, say, yarn. But you still would need at least 4 pounds probably to...
It'd take me probably a year or two, but I think I could do it.
Whereas for sheep, for most breeds, that's once. And some sheep grow wool so long that they need to be shorn more than once a year.
It looks like such a hard job to cut that, like to shear them.
Yeah.
I watch, as one does, I watch so many things on the internet. And if it's an animal, like, grooming video, I'm always watching it. That looks so hard. And it's a skill because you have to be very careful about their skin. And I'm sure they don't like it until it's over. You know, just like any animal, they don't like their nails trimmed. They don't like to get in a bath. My dog hates it, you know? But, like, I find it so fascinating. But then once they're done, they're so excited because it's off of them. How do you, once you get like the wool, do you have like a cleansing process there? That looks like that would be the worst part.
Yeah.
Or the hardest, I mean.
I guess from my standpoint, it's not necessarily the hardest part on what I have to do. You know, I do have a special washing machine that is specifically calibrated for wool so that it doesn't get felted. If you put heat, moisture, and agitation together, it can felt the wool, which we don't want if we're going to process it. Some people do want to felt it, but that's a process for them to do later.
So there's a washing machine. I just picture you taking the wool and just putting it in a sink. That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, that is also a way that it can be done, and some mills do it that way. But I have part of the full mini mill setup that I have included a washing machine.
That's good.
Yeah.
And it's just you that works there?
Yes.
It's a lot of work.
It is. Do you get some help from some friends occasionally here and there, but for right now, it is just me.
You should sell tickets. Come make some wool with me, because I would do it.
I have thought about it.
I would do it.
I have thought about it.
I mean, I think these skills are cool to learn. You never know when you might need it.
I was talking with someone about that the other day. Definitely have apocalypse skills.
How much of the process is mechanical? Besides, if you take the washing machine out, like what else?
Well, there are a lot of pieces of equipment. So, but that can all be done by hand. Like if you were to Old Sturbridge Village, you would see all the hand versions of that. And I also do that. Not that part's just for fun. That part's hand spinning on a treadle wheel and things like that. But this equipment is more like, I'd say,
lots of spindles.
Small scale industrial manufacturing.
Yeah, I definitely suggest if anyone hasn't seen it, they try and look up how fabric is made. It's so I would never have pictured it. I don't know what I was going to think it would look like, but it's that machine is wild.
Yeah. Yes.
There's so many spindles and so many things moving, and it's like a spider. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot going on, but it's so fascinating watching someone work them because it's like second nature to them. How did you learn how to do all of this?
Oh, I kind of fell into it. At a certain point, I'm also very into knitting.
You made all of those pieces?
Yeah.
Knitting was so hard for me to understand because you have to use 2 hands. I'm a crochet. I like crochet.
Nice.
The 2 hands, it's like rubbing your stomach and patting your head for me. I don't know. I really wanna learn how to do it, though, and what you're wearing looks awesome.
Thank you. Thanks. I will say that I did not take to knitting the first several times that I tried it. That was another thing that sort of had to be the right place, right time. I don't know. Just sort of latched onto it at a time when I was spending a lot of time in doctor's offices and waiting rooms and things. And it brought a sense of calm that I couldn't otherwise my mind would be spinning.
I really used crochet recently to do that same thing, is to, like, nothing was working, and I was just anxious all the time anyway. And I think it's not the first thing people think of when they think of a relaxing technique, is to pick up a hobby that's like this, right? They want to, like, and I'm saying they and I mean me.
Yeah.
I pick up my phone and I just lay and sit and then make everything worse. And that's the reality that I've been conditioned and conditions myself to be in. So when I picked up crocheting, I slept so good for the first time in so long. So yeah, I definitely understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big part of it too. Just kind of going down the scrolling rabbit hole and realizing this does not make me feel good. I want to do something else with my hands that feels productive and useful.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get to wear it.
Yeah. It's so rewarding once you click with it, even if the end product isn't what you hope it to be, because my God, I made this scarf and it's literally just a blanket. It's a blanket.
Yeah.
Cowl. I don't know what it's supposed to be
Doesn't
now,
matter.
but it's so huge. It's for like a giant, someone that's like 10 feet tall. Like, I don't know what, but the time I had doing it, it just really was nice to use my hands and my brain at the same time. There's a lot of studies out that say, even with writing with a pen and paper, that's stuff that our brain just like needs and craves. Once you get some raw wool, how long does it take to get the finished piece?
Yeah. I really should try to figure that out at some point. The thing is, for it all to work as a business, a lot of the machines have to be running at the same time.
Mhm.
So, 5 different steps are happening simultaneously
That's-
on some different, this order belongs to that person, that order belongs to that person, and keeping track of all of it in between as it moves along. It takes longer than probably most people think.
You make things to order?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's kind of 2 sides of it. There's the service side of it where I'm working directly with farmers or hand spinners on the sheep that they are raising, or if someone went to a fiber festival and bought a sheep fleece and they just want it processed for themselves, and then processing that through how they want it. So I can do yarn, and there are a couple other products in between before it becomes yarn. There's something called roving, which is one step before the yarn gets made, and that's something like hand spinners or felters would want, and then also bats. So bats are like giant sheets of fluffy wool. And that could also be for spinners or felters or quilters or any way that people want to use the wool. I'm sure there are lots of other things to do with wool out there that sky's the limit, really.
I haven't really engaged with wool as like a crafter before. You are also part of the Southern New England Fiber Shed?
Western Mass Fiber
Western
Shed.
Mass,
Yeah,
sorry.
there's a southeastern New England Fiber Shed
Mhm.
is more out this way, and
Okay.
then Western Mass Fiber Shed is more towards my way. But I am also involved in that fiber shed. Yeah, I sit on the board for that nonprofit.
Mhm.
We have been, I think our nonprofit status is still pretty new. We're in the first year of that.
Mhm.
So kind of shifting and changing and seeing what that looks like too.
Do you feel comfortable telling people what a fiber shed is?
Fiber shed is a at this point, global idea that started out of California, a book that was written by Rebecca Burgess. And different areas have an affiliate of some sort. So that's why there are 2 different fiber sheds that we know of in Massachusetts. People in that area got together and decided to start a thing and connect to this. I sometimes refer to it as the mothership.
Yeah.
I don't know. We kind of jokingly call it that in our meetings. I don't know if there's an official term, but so there's sort of this overarching piece that's got the same logos and the same graphics and that cohesion. But depending on where you are, the actual fiber that is being used will be different. Like
Yeah.
here, in both of the fiber sheds that are present in Massachusetts, we do a lot of work with wool. But say in North Carolina, they're working more with cotton. And different parts of the world are different fiber focus. So and there's also a soil to soil component of it. So sort of like we were talking before, the sheep keep growing the wool, or if I think maybe Rust Belt fiber shed is more focused on flax. I'm not positive about that, but so there are plant-based fibers, there are animal-based fibers, there are all sorts of things we can do with it, getting it from that raw material into something that can be used and made into something.
Yeah. And it's all based on local farming ecosystems and really decolonizing and having equitable soil to skin processes. I read the book and I was fascinated, and I was like, this is literally the answer. I think having a regional textile system that feeds into a regional fashion and accessory and home system the same way a regional food system would work I think, is the ideal method that we operate. And I think it'll get there because of people like you and obviously Rebecca Burgess, Sally Fox, doing these things and communicating them. And for people who don't know, if you want to be involved with the Fiber Shed, you can go to fibershed.org, find a chapter near you. There's often Zoom meetings sometimes. Sometimes
Yeah.
there's meal tours, which I'm sure you have also been a part of before.
Yeah.
And just a lot of fascinating things happening right under our noses that we wouldn't otherwise know about. So all of your stuff, you process it at your mill, and it's all natural colors. Do you ever dye anything?
I do dye some. That is more recent of a thing that has started. There's a whole story that we won't get into about plumbing and various equipment in my space. And
that's always a problem, right? When you have to add water to an old mill building in an obscure spot. Yeah.
Yeah. And they think there's a sub-basement, but they can't get to it, or they don't know if it's actually under where you are, that sort of thing. But the plumbing for the washer was the first priority. And that's sort of part of it, too. A lot of the people on the service end of things that we were talking about, to bring that back, they want the natural colors back. So it wasn't really a high priority for me. And that comes more on the other side of things, where I'm starting to make yarn to sell as alchemy yarn. So those are the things where people want more colors.
Yeah.
And also, I like lots of colors.
Me too.
All the bright colors all the time.
And I was fascinated when I read that book. I ended up buying another book called The Wild Dyer. And it's basically a foraging book. And you can go out in the woods and find all of these different plants that produce the colors that you want. And I think avocado, and I'm probably wrong, but it was like red or something.
Yeah, it's like a pinkish color. And it kind of depends.
I would never think that.
There's so much chemistry. And there are things you can add to the fiber before you dye it that will change the color. There are things you can add to the dye bath that will change the color. I will say with natural dyes, and I'm by no means any sort of expert. I'm just starting to learn more about dyeing. But some of the colors, you can get them, but they might not be color fast or they might not be light fast. And so that means every time you wash it, more of the color will come out. So it's sort of balancing, are you more interested in the process? Are you more interested in the end result? And considering all of those things. Like for me as a business and someone trying to sell yarn, I am not going to choose the dyes that kind of leach out time you wash it.
Wool is always so intimidating because you can't wash it normally, right? It's stresses me out.
Yeah, that almost feels like a loaded question at some point. Without getting into too much depth about superwash wool, there are some versions of wool that you can wash. I am not involved in superwash, so all of my yarn is non-superwash wool.
How do you clean it then after?
Carefully, gently. Well, that's part of the beauty of wool.
It's self-cleaning, right?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's got antimicrobial properties. It's got, all these different things. It doesn't absorb body odor the way that synthetics do that need to be washed and cleaned more often. And you can still wash it. It's just maybe don't throw it in the washing machine.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
You just have to dip it in
some lukewarm water with some wool wash, not Woolite. Get some
I forgot about that brand.
Get some legit wool wash. Woolite is actually not that great for wool, for whatever that's worth. Gentle, no rinse wool wash, and then you don't have to rinse it. You don't wring it, don't handle it a lot. If you have some sort of spinning, you can spin it out to get most of the water out, or sometimes I'll lay it flat and roll it in some towels to get a lot of water out. And lay it flat. Let it dry.
Still stresses me out.
It's so worth it though.
Yeah, it is. It is, because it lasts forever. So you want, if you take care of it, you decided to do this journey before retirement. How has that been for you as far as exciting, scary?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a constant roller coaster. Days it's like, yes, this is where I need to be. And other days it's like, what have I done?
Yeah.
So, but I guess that's the nature of early days of small biz, maybe all the days of small biz. Maybe it will be like this always. But the days when, the sheep farmers who have their first shearing and they come and they pick up the yarn for the first time that they've ever done it, and they're just so excited. You're both teary about it. Those are the days that keep it going. That's a big part of it for me. I do say for the love of fiber, and I absolutely mean it when I say it, but also, for the love of the people who are using the fiber, and to also be involved in fiber. Community is a really big drive for what I am doing. Also, I'm trying to connect those small-scale farmers who are here in Massachusetts with all the fiber users here in Massachusetts. There was this missing piece.
Yeah.
And I recognized that and had researched all of that before I decided to go all in and start this thing. That part's been great.
It definitely helps being very passionate about it, because that is something that'll carry you through the days that piss you off.
Yeah, it's true.
Because, when you're working with any kind of manufacturing processes, things can go wrong. You just have a bad day and they're really frustrating. Anytime I'm working with something electronic or mechanical, nothing gets my blood boiling more. And it can't talk back, but I cuss it out.
Yeah.
kick it.
Swearing absolutely helps.
Yeah, it actually makes them fall in line some mysterious way. That's that science and magic you've got there.
Yes. Yes. Always. I definitely have had to learn a lot about fixing things.
You do all the maintenance. I mean, you have to, I guess, because there's no one around.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say the equipment is still in manufacture. So there are people that I can call, but
That's good.
they're also not close. And so even getting them there is a huge expense. So I try to do as much of it as I can myself. The electrical components are not my thing. If something electrical happens, I definitely have to call someone.
Mm-hmm.
But the mechanical stuff, I've been trying to learn a lot about. Sometimes get help from friends on that, help from my husband for sure. Like when I learned what a gear puller even was because I needed to replace all the sprockets on the carter and had no idea what I was doing. And like, I can't get this off no matter what I try. Oh, you need a gear puller. Oh, okay.
Great. Yeah.
It was so on there for anyone who knows what a gear puller is. We broke the first one. It was so on there. We had to go back and buy like a more souped up one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I haven't heard the word sprocket in so long. I love that word.
Yeah. Yeah. Even learning the difference between a gear and a sprocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a satisfying word. It
Yeah.
also reminds me of the Jetsons.
Yes.
And boy, were they wrong. No flying cars. I guess we do have the robots coming, but I doubt they're going to be as cool as her.
Yeah.
Wasn't his boss named Mr. Sprocket?
Was it Spriggly's Sprocket?
Something
like that.
So I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just remember he was short. That's all I remember.
And miserable.
Yes. As one is when they are a cog in the machine.
Rocket in the machine, if you will.
So when you say a little bit of science and a little bit of magic into what you do, what are the science parts and what are the magic parts?
Oh. Well, the science part, I kind of think of my fiber science background.
Mm-hmm.
And the magic part is also when all the time, really. All of it's magic.
Yeah.
Even when science is running the show, some of it still feels magical. And I like that essence of whimsy is also important. Try to remember that on the bad days.
And it's also the magic of connecting community. Fibershed does a really good job in structuring how to engage with the local textile environment in your region.
Yeah.
Which then is building a community because everybody has the same mission and objectives and beliefs in that system, and also understands you have to kind of be the change you want to see, because if we wait for government or regulation to catch up, we'll be dead before we see that. And I just really resonate with the way Fibershed and a lot of these other groups just say, we're just going to do it. And I love how much also the fashion community has, like in California or North Carolina, has really adopted leaning on Fibershed as far as their source of textiles. And I just wish more people knew about it. So I'm glad that you're here to talk about, it's right here.
Yeah. Thanks. It is right here. And especially in New England, with New England being, such small geographic locations compared to other places, even in our same country. There's no definitive scope of what is each Fibershed. It's like kind of whoever got together and decided they were doing the thing. So there are a lot of different Fibershed activities going on in this.
Yeah. There's
Mom a
like
little
northern
area.
New England, which covers like Maine, I guess.
Yeah, parts of New Hampshire, I think in
Mhm.
Vermont. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one in Connecticut
Yep.
that I think is kind of restarting.
Yep.
There's definitely a very active one in New York.
Yeah, the textile lab there.
Textile Lab, Hudson Valley Textile Project. There's the Rhinebeck Sweaters for Good movement that's happening right now, trying to
Oh.
get people to knit or make. I try to be open, not just knitters.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of my ruling forces when I'm planning things is it's not just for knitters, but to make sweaters out of local yarn.
Mhm.
And even just getting people to ask that question, like, what does local yarn even mean? Where does it come from?
Mhm.
Even when you go to your local yarn shop, they don't necessarily have local yarn.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go direct to the farmers who are growing it
Mhm.
and then bringing it to me to make yarn and
Yep.
then giving it back to them, and they're marketing and selling themselves at fiber festivals and things. So fiber festivals are a good place to try and ask questions and look for local yarns.
That's in Springfield, right?
There are
Or
a couple. Yeah, actually, there's a lot. There are a lot of new ones popping up in Massachusetts,
Huh.
Specifically, but kind of all over.
Are you part of any kind of sewing circles or knitting circles?
Well, at Alchemy, on first Saturdays, have sort of an open house, I call it the Fiber Lounge. And that is in conjunction with Art Walk that happens in Easthampton, also on the first Saturday. So lots of different things going on around town, kind of centered around art and making and various things like that. And so for Saturdays between 2:30 and 7 p.m., people can bring their projects and come hang out, sit on the couches, bring spinning wheels, whatever people kind of come and go. I have some regulars who usually are there. Never know from month to month, like, who's gonna show up or what it'll be like, but it's always good, it's always nice, and usually if someone shows up with a question, we figure out how to get it answered by the time
Yeah.
they leave.
That's
Whether
good.
whether I know the answer or someone else there knows the answer, or I can connect them to, "Oh, I was talking to someone last week, and I know who to connect you with,"
Mhm.
that sort of thing. So that's
That's so
a
nice.
nice piece of it.
And you talked a little bit about that powerful moment when a farmer's first shearing their sheep, something they've started out doing, and they're passing over the wool to you, and then they get it back, and then it's that emotional moment. I feel like this you've already answered it in that discussion, but what makes that connection powerful? I feel like you answered it.
I feel like that is definitely part of the magic
Mhm.
piece. It's connecting to people. It's connecting to people on this other level that
Yeah.
wasn't there before that moment. Like, it sort of was.
Yeah.
You knew that's what you were doing, but to see that emotion in someone else and
Mhm.
experience that in the same moment, um,
'Cause you're proud for them, you're proud for you, you're proud for each other, and what you're building together because a fiber shed is not a siloed operation. It's really just a group of people, and it's really cool. I need to get back into the connection with that too, because it is beautiful, and it makes you remember that the world and people are kind and working towards good things, and understand sustainability is important, and consumption isn't where we consume and how we, um I recommend anybody that wants to learn about it to read Fiber Shed by Rebecca Burgess. It's on their website. Buy it from there, not Amazon. I love it when something presents a problem and a solution in the same breath, because we forget that's the best way to solve things, right? It is, and I'm sure that's really empowering to be a part of something like that.
Yes.
You've got
Yeah.
your mission, all the connections around with the local fiber shed, and you guys are doing something really good for the planet and showing people how it's done. I'm gonna cry.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, but really it is. It's truly something that needs to be talked about more and understood. Sorry, why am I gonna
Don't be
cry?
sorry, I love it. I mean, I don't,
Cry. No. No, it
love
really needs to
feeling-
be
I think
that
it's
way.
Yeah, you're really, just really extra making your point, like,
Yeah.
feeling that.
Yeah.
Feeling that connection, feeling that magic, and honestly, to kind of bring it back around a little bit to what we were talking about before we started recording, but, we're also just humans.
Yeah.
And it's humans doing this thing together, but on the organization side of things.
Yeah.
We might not always have all the answers or have it together as people think from the outside, and
Yeah.
we need help from other people.
Yeah.
So, often organizations like this, like, we're a bunch of overcommitted, overworked people who just
Yeah.
are doing this because we love it so much,
Yeah.
and we need it to continue.
And it's so important. I mean,
Yeah.
not only if you're, like, committed to the art form of fiber arts, but there's just, like, there's this giant sustainability piece to it that is so important, and as well as the, decolonization, and there's just so many important pieces, I think, that are missing from almost any industry, and I feel like if more industries operated in the way that Fiber Shed operated, we'd be in a much better place. So I want more people to know about it so they can be like, "Oh, man, how can I implement this in whatever thing I'm passionate about?" Because I'm sure that's what she did, right? She started it because she was super passionate about it.
Yeah.
She saw this vision. Yeah, I don't know. It's just really inspiring, and I read that book, and I was doing, like, a fashion fast. I had stopped buying clothes. I fell off the wagon. The state of the world,
Yeah.
there's never an excuse for overconsumption, but I'm a fucking human,
Yeah.
and I am flawed as hell. I mean, gosh,
Aren't
please,
we all?
please
Aren't we
point me
all?
to the saints. I
Ugh.
don't know any.
We tried to do a larger fiber shed was running a closet audit project last year, and we participated. A few of us did. And yeah, it's really eye-opening
Yeah.
when you start to evaluate things at that level and look at what you're doing.
Mhm.
But, we also recognize that sometimes you need a little sparkle in your life, and
Yeah.
sparkles are synthetic.
Are there any other organizations that you work with in Western Mass?
Well, it's not directly fiber related, but I also am part of the Easthampton Farmers Market, which is
Okay.
another nonprofit.
Oh, it's a nonprofit?
Yeah. That we try to keep that afloat too.
Yeah. Yeah. Life's hard, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, it's expensive to be a farmer, it's expensive to eat, it's expensive everything's expensive,
Yeah.
especially in New England.
Yeah.
What's been one of the hardest lessons running a small fiber business?
I am inherently trusting of everyone.
Yeah.
And sometimes that comes back to bite you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely not fiber specific. That's definitely business owner realm.
Yeah.
But I try to not let it change who that's a big part of who I am. So
Yeah.
It gets you down, you figure out how to get around it. You have support around you that helps. Um, I guess that leads into maybe advice if you're doing a thing. Like, even if you're doing a thing by yourself, have your own support network around you and available to you for when you need it.
It's really difficult. I can't imagine doing what you're doing, but it's really cool that you got your education in fiber arts, and then you weren't a part of it for so long, except for maybe recreationally.
Yeah.
And then you found your way back, which is cool. I find a lot of people, I guess not a lot of people. Some people, went to school for something completely different and fell into the arts, or, so it's neat to see that as well.
Yeah, I honestly feel like what I'm doing now, running this business, this fiber, connecting all the things, it's like pulled together all of the different random jobs that I've had feel like they were building to this. And so there are pieces from the fiber science degree and pieces from the training that I've done and pieces from my nonprofit life, and it's all coming together into this one thing that I'm doing. And that in itself is pretty magical.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty interesting when you step back from things that you've been doing, and notice. Congratulations on taking the leap before you retired, because it's scary and you only live once,
Yes.
and you can't look back with regrets, even if it doesn't turn out the way you hope, or, you pivot into some other fashion of what you thought you might do it originally. It's always worth it. I just see so many people regretting they didn't do more when they're older. And I don't want to be that person.
Thanks for saying that. Yeah, that will help me the next time I'm having that
Crisis.
kind of chaotic day. I'll be like, yeah, I'm doing it. At least I will know the answer of what happens if I do it. Here I am doing it.
I mean, I fail all the time. I think all my careers have been kind of a wash. What else are we gonna do in life?
Is better than a lot of my good days doing the other stuff.
Yeah. It's true. I know that you do events. What kind of events do you offer for folks?
Yeah. So there is the first Saturday events that generally happen at Alchemy. Open Spin starts at 2:30 and Fiber Lounge starts at 4, but I don't restrict it. Like, if you show up with a knitting project during spinning time, just come hang out.
Yeah.
Just come and meet people. Work on whatever you're working on. Tell us about it. Show and tell. Like, that's all part of it. Other events kind of sprinkle in throughout the year. I have an events calendar on the website that can kind of clue people in.
What kind of things do you offer when you do have events besides that?
I'm also trying to have some more classes. Right now, I'm also teaching classes for a couple of other places. I teach some knitting-related classes at Webb's, both in person and virtually. That's through the yarn store in Northampton. And I teach some garment sewing classes at Hoop and Bee Quilt Studio in the same building in Eastworks, just a couple floors up from Alchemy. And I'm trying to develop the Alchemy class schedule a little further this year. We've had a few things here and there. I'm trying to build that up as well. So look for more of that as we continue in a variety of things, like wet felting, needle felting, crochet, knitting, sewing, all sorts of different things, embroidery.
Oh, that's fun. I want to do wet felting, but I also don't want to buy all the stuff and then try it. I want to go try it somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I also Don't know. I might hate it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to come up with more ways to engage people in fiber who may not already be in that space. Like wet felting and needle felting are good places to start. You can do those without a lot of equipment.
Yeah. What's something that's exciting you right now?
I've got some things in the works. That's probably not that exciting to talk about since I can't tell the details yet.
So new opportunities.
New opportunities. Fiber. I'm excited about the connections that are happening because of fiber, because of what I'm doing, because of, finding you, I'm finding your podcast. It's from some random post on Instagram.
Is that how you found me?
Yeah, I don't even know how it came across my feed. I just came across that, it's probably because the phone was listening.
Probably.
We had just been talking about third spaces at one of my first Saturday meetups, and then all of a sudden there was this, hey, I'm looking for people who, have this connection to third spaces, fill out this Google form. And I was like, why the heck not? Yeah, so that answers the question. Like, that's exciting.
Yeah.
How all of these connections are happening, even though, you aren't inherently in the fiber space. Like, how did I come across that? No idea, but I found it because of what I'm doing with Alchemy.
Yeah. I will link everything in the show notes on where people can find you.
Excellent.
Where they can find Fiber Shed, where they can buy the book about Fiber Shed. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Do you feel like... Thank you for listening to this week's episode. As always, check the show notes on where to find everything Alchemy Fibermill. And thank you again, Malinda, for sharing your story and sharing your information about the mill. As always, thank you all for listening, and I will see you next week.